One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
What day is it today, man? It is hump day morning, man. Let's go. Much love, honor, respect, everybody, man. So, check it out. It is a wild hump day, as you know, I'm sure you guys were predicting. We have a lot of shit going on, obviously, with into regards to Israel and Iran. And the main question is the United States going to get itself involved? So I have this labeled as, quote, well, live news here. U.S. weighs options on involvement in Israel-Iran war and more. So I have a lot of the updates within the last 12 hours, but there was a situation room yesterday with Trump, and he was in there for an hour and 20 minutes, something like that. And these situation rooms are not recorded and all this shit. I'm sure some of you guys know exactly what that is. So it concluded, and we've been waiting on an update from Trump. I was figuring that we were actually going to hear that last night because Trump is so transparent and actually kind of beats everyone to the punch regarding stuff like this. But so far, we don't have that direct update, so I don't want to mislead you guys. I want you guys to know that hasn't happened yet. But we have a lot to discuss here, man. But before we do, man, make sure you guys hit that like button. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are new here, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. Please consider becoming a member, though, starting only at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank with anybody out there. We're not doing that. But listen, this is exactly how we get to do exactly what we do and speak the way that we speak, is because we're 100% funded by you guys in the Breakfast Club. And it allows us not to ever have to cater to views to get paid. And, you know, some people even trip on my channel. They're like, how do you have 300, 400, 500 views on a video, but you're getting paid? Like, how is that? Well, right here's the answer. We got the membership, man. So I very much appreciate all of you guys in the Breakfast Club for making that very shit happen, man. Sincerely. Side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV. Post everything behind the scenes of not only my lifestyle, but of the show, as well as Millennial Food Time. Listen, I break all my good, all the crazy news that's happening, video-wise, those clips and updates. This is the best place where I break news right here. Aside from YouTube, obviously you guys are already here. But make sure you guys follow my Instagram right there, because that's where you're going to see real-time updates. If I posted something and said it's happening now, well, it's happening like within 30 seconds prior. So that's how quick I am with it on the Instagram side of things. Last but not least, of course, man, every super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, all these things, of course, going to be shouted out live onto the show and presented live. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut, we have these, platforms scrolling at the remainder of the show at the bottom here. And of course, I will read out your message over there, man. Absolutely. We got Mount High up in the building. Good to see you, man. We got Gary as well as Naomi throwing in to become a member today. Yes, if you guys can't become a member on your phone because it doesn't give you the join option, that's the option right there, is hitting that link right there. It'll bring you to the prompt of which one you want to sign up as, the $2.99 tier, the whatever. So that's the link, the direct link for that. Then we also have the Discord that Naomi threw in here. Make sure you guys get into the Discord where we continue the conversation after the show's been finished. You know what I mean? We definitely have a good time there. It's where I hang out, play Call of Duty with all you guys, talk shit, throw some memes in there. It's a good time, man. We got Get Some up in the building saying, we plan to raid you on Rumble. You were offline. Oh, Get Some. I very much appreciate you. I don't go live on my Rumble. I have a Rumble account, but the last time I think I used my Rumble account was when I was on a podcast. I created a podcast with another guy. We called it Beat Can Podcast. Bikers explore anything they can. And that was kind of like the ordeal there. And that's when we were uploading to Rumble over there. But Rabbit of Chaos, good to see you, by the way. We got Steve Easy saying Mike makes his real money on Only Nubs selling videos to freaks. It's true. It's true. Just don't get mad at the way I make my bread, you know? Legends in the house. That's true. We got Frederick Frame as well, man. Good morning to you guys. And make sure you guys smash that like button, man. Very much appreciate your guys' engagement. Absolutely. All right. So we got a lot to get through here. Let's go ahead and start this one off. And Dark Horse, by the way, I see you, homie. I see you over there. Roll Tide, homie. Good to see you. Just got back from a 15-mile ride. Damn. Alabama to Hampton, Virginia for our national annual. Damn, dude. That's legendary. Good on you. And we got Bill Castle as well saying, sup, fuckers. Good to see you, by the way. And I appreciate you for sharing the video, man. Very much appreciate that. We got Tats as well across the pond. Good to see you, by the way. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, let's go ahead and do this.
Circling back to some of the top stories of the day.
Why is this so loud, yo? Damn. And we'll bring back the playback speed.
As I take you out to this live image that we have over in Tel Aviv, Israel, as we continue to follow the conflict between Israel and Iran. The latest.
This is a kind of a big deal here. So this was breaking an hour ago. So I wanted to present to you guys what was kind of like the latest here. Okay, right off the bat, you guys get the latest of what's going on, and that's why I presented this one first, because it is a breaking story. Iran rejects Trump's call to surrender. Quote, U.S. will suffer. Oh, boy.
This being this, that Iran's supreme leader on Wednesday rejecting U.S. calls for surrender in the face of blistering Israeli strikes and warned that any military involvement by the Americans would cause, quote, irreparable damage to them in a recorded video statement aired by state TV. That's according also to some of the reporting from the Associated Press. I want to bring back this statement that we do have from Iran's supreme leader. Take a look at this here on your screen, in which he said, quote, let the Americans know that the Iranian nation is not one to surrender, and any military intervention on their part will undoubtedly result in irreparable damage. This was only the Ayatollah's second public comment since Israel launched its attack against Iran last week.
Yeah. We got Brother Frank as well. Good morning to you as well. Good to see you. Always appreciate you. And Naomi is throwing in the links to send that money in. You know what I mean? So I'll go ahead and let you guys know what's good.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Man, I very much appreciate that, Steve. He says, I haven't had to watch any news other than Mike regarding this bullshit. Thanks. Thankfully, he's been on point like usual. Man, I very much appreciate that. Listen, I think everyone knows that my position on things, you know, personally, but I think that you guys also understand that I can give both sides of the equation because I'm just reporting fact, what is happening. You know, I'm not giving you what I think about it. I'm just showing what is actually happening. That is it, you know. And same thing with Instagram. I'm showing both sides of the equation. The shit that the Israeli government probably wouldn't want me to post, and the shit that probably the Iranian government probably wouldn't want me to post. It doesn't make either side look very good. So make sure you guys follow me on my Instagram. That's what I'm getting at, I guess. Right? Make sure you guys follow my Instagram, and you guys will have all of those fantastic updates in real time. But Brother Steve, I appreciate that.
Back out here to Tel Aviv as I read along with some more from the Associated
Now it's finally
Press.
time.
President Trump did initially distance himself from Israel's surprise attack last Friday that triggered the conflict, but in recent days has hinted at greater American involvement, saying he wants something much bigger than a ceasefire. The U.S. has also sent more military aircraft and warships to the region. Now, the state TV anchor, which also aired some of that statement from Iran's supreme leader before the actual video was aired, Iran followed a similar sequence in releasing an earlier statement from the supreme leader, and perhaps
yeah, Steve, did you hear that Trump was like on True Social or whatever? He was like, "Can someone tell Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuke?" I was like, "Oh shit!"
Security measure, as his location is still unknown. The foreign ministry spokesperson there did not elaborate, but thousands of American troops are based in nearby countries within range of Iran's weapons. The U.S. has threatened a massive response to any attack. Another Iranian official said the country would keep enriching uranium for peaceful purposes, apparently ruling out the president's demands that Iran give up its disputed nuclear program. Earlier today, we also saw some remarks from the United Nations ambassador to Iran given this conflict. Let's play out some of those remarks next.
That's right. What's up, Beezer? Old Beezer Geezer. Good to see you, bro. Hey, we playing Call of Duty today?
Thank you for being here this morning for this ACANU press conference. We have the pleasure to receive this morning the permanent representative of the Islamic Republic of Iran to the United Nations and the other international organizations. Ambassador Ali Bahraini is...
Right, this is the ambassador for, I believe, I forget which... I know he's obviously representing Iran, but I forget if it's here in the U.S.
Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary Engineer.
I don't know where this, like, if this is like a UN ordeal. I have no idea, like, what's going on right fucking here. I really don't know which country's setting this up.
IVA since September 2022. So, Mr. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you everybody for attending this briefing meeting. When we were arranging this meeting,
let me go because he's speaking so slow. Let's just really amp this up.
One of us was expecting that this briefing will take place at such a complicated time, but I'm happy that it is a good opportunity for me to share with you our positions with regard to current developments in our region. Before starting, I have to make an apology.
Shit, brother, Junkyard up in the building saying we live, baby. Absolutely. Good to see you, man.
I have to leave this meeting for a few minutes to take part in the Human Rights Council and make a statement over there. But I will be back very soon. And I ask you to stay. We have a lot of things to discuss here, and I'm completely ready to listen to your questions and explain for you our positions. If you allow me, first, let me to start by saying...
And if anyone is interested, this is covered in the entire big live stream that's happening right now. But the truth is, I don't want to sit there and listen to Homeboy, go off. But I do have, at the end here, I'll be playing basically the other side, meaning Iran's side. And we have a... decent size update from Al Jazeera, right? Which is a Qatari funded in whole or part by the Qatari government. Okay. It's an interesting Middle East kind of report with an, English being reported. So I have that set up for all of us at the end here. So stick around. We're going to be definitely pumping our way through all of this. Let's go ahead and bring this up right here. Israel-Iran, new efforts to de-escalate conflict. Trump disputes Gabbard.
In the meantime, bringing in more of our stable of experts and analysts.
I'll be going against Tulsi
to help us make sense of what is going on. And we're going to do that with our friend there, Benjamin Rad, global studies lecturer, researcher at UCLA. He joins me. Benjamin, thanks for being with us here.
Oh, this dude again.
I had to get you on. I haven't spoken to you yet since this is all unfolded and transpired. And I want to start this way because a lot of people are talking about this particular post on Truth Social that the president posted today.
It was way
He
too
says this,
loud.
we know exactly where the so-called supreme leader, in quotes, is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We're not going to take him out. Parentheses, kill, exclamation point, at least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin.
We definitely did send fighter jets over there. We've sent a whole bunch of shit over there. We've sent the USS Nimitz over there. We've got everything in place, ready to go right now. Yeah, everything's pretty much ready to go.
Thank you for your attention to this matter. So this is being described as somewhat of an implicit attempt or threat by the U.S. president over assassinating the supreme leader, taking him out, targeting him, or at least helping Israel to do so. Has that ever happened before since 1979?
Wow, it's definitely not on social media. No, this is a new one, and it's one of those moments where I think, in part, it's not like the United States and Israel collectively intelligence services don't know where Khamenei has been hiding. I mean, we know he's in a secure location somewhere in Tehran. I mean, both countries know where he is, and it's not a question of if they can get to him. That's Israel's demonstrated it can pretty much get to anybody in the regime now, and the United States can definitely do the same. But really, the issue is it worthwhile doing so? What would it unleash? What would it beget? And that is the calculus going through the Trump team right now in the Situation Room to decide whether or not taking that big symbolic step actually bears any fruit that would really improve the situation on the ground. It doesn't seem so right now. I mean, he is a 86-year-old, 87-year-old man, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't believe he's that old. I mean, that's crazy. 86, 87 years old. Like, holy fuck, dude.
Shots, but he does rely on a close circle of advisors, people he's known for a long time, people he trusts. So at the end of the day, he's not the one calling sort of specific military and tactical and strategic decision making. He's really, at this point now, the religious figurehead that is giving a sense of legitimacy to whatever Iran's decisions may be. So take him out, and that legitimacy is gone for now until another cleric fills the role. But it doesn't mean necessarily that what Iran's doing will change.
So when we're talking about the concept of the notion of regime change, I want to get your thoughts on this. Should Israel...
Right, okay. This is an interesting thing, what he just said here on the concept of regime change. I bear a question for you guys in the chat. If we were to get involved, the United States, should we basically destroy their nuclear program and that's it? Or do we actually advocate for regime change? That's the question that I'm going to ask you guys. I'll give you guys my take afterwards. So let me know in the comments down below and the live chat as well.
Should the United States just come out and say, we want regime change?
Morning,
those are our aims
Lotus.
here. I know the aims are we want to prevent Iran from ever obtaining, enriching, creating a nuclear weapon. But to do that, do they need regime change first?
They do not, but here's the problem. The Islamic Republic, it's the revolution of 79 that brought it into power, that really gave birth to it. It's premised on three principles. So you can consider them sort of mission statements or like corporate policies, if you will. The first is resistance to the United States. The second is the destruction of Israel. They've been clear about that. And the third is exporting the revolution. The enrichment program and the potential to become a nuclear weapon state directly supports all three of those aims. So for Iran to completely give that up, it can do it if it means regime survival, but it also means basically abandoning one or two of its three pillars of the Islamic Revolution. So there is that issue. There is that question of legitimacy. If you do that, then how can you be defending Iran against Israel and the United States and also exporting the revolution to other countries, backed by the use of force if needed to protect Shia in those other countries if you don't have this deterrent? So there's that part of it. And then the other part of it comes down to that ultimately these are not suicidal leaders. This is not literally a hill they're going to die on. They will, if they have to give up something, they will ultimately do it.
What's up, Boseberg, over there on the Facebook side? Good to see you over there. Hopefully you're enjoying your Wednesday morning so far, your hump day.
The question is what legitimacy and what face they will have left afterwards, and that's what they have to reckon with.
So I want to ask, and this is somewhat of an open-ended question here. Say the Ayatollah was killed by Israel. Who would fill his place? And I want to ask, is it naive to assume, because you're hearing this a lot, is it naive to assume that Iranians, everyday rank and file Iranians, will just organically rise up and the destiny for their self-determination will just fall into their laps and a new Iran will be born? Is that naive? Because you are hearing that a lot. Say the Ayatollah was gone, many of the armed forces leaders, they're already gone. And that the Iranian people will just organically rise up and they will create their own style of self-determination and self-government to go on and on and on. Why are people saying that? Should they be saying that? Is it naive to say that?
What's up, Tiffany?
It is, it's wishful and it's optimistic, and we'd like to think that's the case. But the issue is that you have a hardcore cadre of...
I had to reset my internet yesterday, and I actually moved a whole bunch of my devices to make it work better. Yeah, no, I feel you, Tiffany. Crappy internet days suck. I know. The first 2 days of streaming back, Monday and Saturday. I should have rectified it on Saturday, but I didn't. So I waited all the way until yesterday to do it.
religious, I want to say those who were devoted ideologically to the Islamic Republic, not to the nation of Iran, but to the Islamic Revolution that brought the current form of it about. These are the members of the IRGC, the Basij, the paramilitary force, the thugs who we see with batons and on motorbikes who are going after protesters and whatnot. There's no indication that they will change tune. Their fate is tied to the fate of the entire theocracy as a whole. Where the theocracy goes, so do they. So if the Ayatollah is to be killed, there are several potential successors who could step in. Now, there'll be a power fight, a struggle as to who that would be. Chief among them would be his son, Mojtaba Khamenei, who he has groomed to be his successor, though that's not guaranteed, that it's not 100% guaranteed that would happen. But the point I'm making is that so long as you have these fundamentalist theologians still in charge, and that's most likely who will replace Khamenei, then there's no reason to believe that these rank and file members of the IRGC and the Basij are going to basically drop their weapons, their batons, and really hand over power back to the people. This is Rome, following.
And see, that's probably why, most likely, why we're going to end up getting involved right there. What Gary just said. I'm sure we will see what bunker busters do damage-wise very soon. Yep, America is the only people that's got the equipment that that they need, and it needs to be flown by a U.S. plane to be able to drop it. So, yikes. We got Aaron Oolinger, by the way, over there on the Facebook side of things. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your hump day so far. Good to see everybody up in the beauty. Shit.
The wishes of Marcus Aurelius, so to speak. So that's not necessarily what we're going to see.
Okay.
And that's the issue.
Yeah, regime change is rocky. I don't think anyone doubts that. But in the meantime, I want to talk about intelligence gathering, what the U.S. knew, when they knew it, what Israel knew, when they knew it here. Also referring to this other post on Truth Social from the president saying, we now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. He says nobody does it better than the good old USA. He's speaking in the weirdly royal we. Why is he doing that? Why is he lumping us and Israel in the same pronoun here? Should he be doing that? Is it confusing? That's my first question. My other question is this.
Well, he's actually explaining the truth of what's actually happening. So you should be denouncing what is actually happening other than what he's saying. What he's saying is actually what is happening.
Some conflicting reports on the intelligence that said Iran was extremely close to developing a nuclear weapon to get it ready to fly, coming from the United States, coming from Israel. Have you seen anything like that? Was there kind of conflicting reports? Was there daylight between what the U.S. was seeing and what Israel was seeing about the very prospect, the timeline of Iran getting a nuclear weapon?
Yeah, these are great questions. So let's start with the first one, the use of the pronoun we. And it's really one where we've seen this with President
Use the proper pronouns.
When there's an opportunity to share in the success of an operation done by another state, another entity, he will step into that. When he perceives it as having failed or been disastrous or not quite what it was promised to be, he will distance himself. And I think we saw that in the very initial stages of the Israeli operation, where we saw the administration, through a statement by Secretary of State Rubio, distancing themselves, saying this was exclusively an Israeli-led operation. The U.S. was not involved. But now, and through great reporting that we've seen come out today, especially in the New York Times, we're talking about how the administration
I didn't see him say that. Holy shit, Steve.
That, okay, once Trump saw the successes of the Israelis and how quickly they were able to neutralize Iran's defenses, take out its top-tier military leadership, the opportunity then to make this part of a broader effort, and embracing the U.S. supportive role, maybe on the intelligence side, became clear to him. And so now we're seeing him switch to that coded language where, he wants to help take credit for some of what's happened. And, I'm sure there's a degree to which the United States participated in at least the intelligence sharing that allowed Israel to achieve the successes. Your second question, in terms of the discrepancy in intelligence findings, this is not the first time we've seen this. Back in 2017, 2018, we saw mismatched conclusions about the Syrian regime's nuclear weapons program, with the Israelis having one set of intelligence and the United States not agreeing with that assessment. It turned out, if I recall correctly, the Israelis were correct. What this demonstrates is that sometimes one nation will have assets and sources that can provide essentially more updated or accurate intelligence than the other can. It doesn't necessarily mean that both countries are wrong. It just means that Israel might have a source the U.S. doesn't have and knows something the U.S. doesn't. But we won't know this definitively. They're not going to share what these sources are. Could it be a ploy by Israel to pressure the United States into intervening or justify what it did in attacking Iran last week? Sure. But all of this to say there are historical examples of where the Israeli intelligence community had information that the U.S. did not.
Okay. I only bring this up.
All right. So that was enough of us to go ahead and get there. Now, I want to see if there's any images from this. It looks like there is here.
Israeli leader Netanyahu says on Thursday night, Iran was weeks away, if not several days away, from getting a nuclear weapon here. And with his director
dismissing these images real quick, if there's anything they're actually going to be showing here. Okay, there isn't. All right, so let me go ahead and bring us into Trump. Trump weighs U.S. options on 6th day of Israel-Iran conflict. This is one of our latest updates regarding this. This is as of 4 hours ago. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and run this. Let's get the playback speed up and going.
I want to share this with you. My producer just getting this in. Thank you so much, Kima. As we are discussing the deadly exchange of strikes between Israel and Iran this Wednesday, we are getting this latest tweet from Israel Defense Forces on X. About 20 minutes ago, they held a press conference, but it wasn't in English. So thankfully, we do have this English translation. Ken, I'm going to read this to you and the viewers. It says, quote, "We have delivered significant blows to the Iranian regime, and as such, they have been pushed back into central Iran. They are now focusing their efforts on conducting missile fire from the area of Isfahan. We are aiming at military targets. They are attacking civilian homes." Break this down for us, Ken, because we know innocent people on both sides of this conflict, and there's a lot of pressure on both sides, especially from the U.S.
Yes. So Israel.
Because the best option, I'll give you the truth, wild card, the best option for the United States right now is to do fucking nothing. That's the truth. That's what we should be doing fucking nothing.
Right now rules the air over Iran. They have managed to knock out a number of the launchers and have been able to pretty much hit whatever target that they were trying to hit. On the other hand, Iran has been launching ballistic missiles at Israel. Some have been getting through, but the difference is that Iran has been hitting the cities, Haifa, Tel Aviv, as opposed to Israel, which has been focused on military targets.
And these are kind of the things I was talking about yesterday regarding the targeted versus non-targeted ordeal. Israel, truthfully, is targeting everything that they are going for. Okay, everything that's being struck is precise. They know they picked that motherfucker out. Iran doesn't necessarily have that capability nor the money to be able to have shit like that. So some of them do have some sort of precision, but most of the time they're just aiming it, get enough fuel in the missile and shoot it off and point it at the city somewhere, you know? So that is true.
And military personnel and the nuclear science and engineers. And so there's a difference in the way that they are conducting war. Israel has an air defense that is comprised of the Arrow 3, the Arrow 2, David's Sling, and of course the Iron.
So what he's saying right there is all of those things are actually what the Iron Dome is. It's three different types of rocket or different missile, anti-missile ordeal. Like the Iron Dome essentially itself, yes, there is the Iron Dome missile, and those are just for short range, little like Houthi missiles or like fucking, like when Hamas was using their missiles and shit, it's meant for those smaller type things. It's not meant for a humongous attack. That's what the Arrow 3 is for. And that's what, you know, yeah.
Dome. And it has been able to handle most of the missiles that Iran has been launching so far. It's been handling somewhere around 90%. So far, as of yesterday, only.
Yeah, to answer this or to, I guess, expand on this, Steve Easy says, all these so-called conservative politicians yelling America first a few months ago are now yelling attack Iran. It's hilarious. And yes, they are. You're doing it. That's exactly right. My position doesn't change. Everyone else's position changes. My position always stays the exact same. You know what I mean? Like, it's America first for real. Now, if there's an actual threat or Americans are being targeted or American assets are being targeted, like if Iran were to start fucking up a whole bunch of our military or like an embassy or because that's like our country, you know what I mean? Like if they were to attack us personally or our military assets, any of that shit. Yeah. Okay. Now it's game on. Game on, homie. Can't touch our shit. Don't touch our shit. We're going to fuck you up. But anyways, I digress.
About 30 missiles fired by Iran has actually struck their targets inside Israel. Of course, when they're shooting it down, the debris still falls to the ground.
And I even reported that tweet like 30 seconds. Well, it wasn't a tweet. It was a Truth Social. But I put it out as well on my Instagram and showing it off within like the 30-second within it, the previous, he would post it like only 30 seconds prior to me posting it. So I'm always scanning for this shit right now.
Have missile components littering parts of Israel. But nonetheless, some of their missiles have been getting through. And there really is a difference in the targeting.
Great point you raised this morning, Ken. And speaking of that targeting, let's provide perspective for both sides of the conflict this morning. Some wondering, how did we even get to this point? Obviously, since October 7th, a lot of eyes have been on Hamas, Hezbollah, the Yemen Houthi rebels. But we must provide perspective and context. As we know, Iran has pretty much been that backbone for many of those terroristic organizations.
Right. And that's the part that is why a lot of people are going, well, yeah, fuck them, go destroy them kind of thing. It's because they were a human and still are an actual problem. They are. But that's not our problem over here in the United States. It's not our problem. That's their problem. That's their problem. It's not our problem. That's the end of the story. But they do, Iran meaning, has funded the entire axis of resistance. This is proven with Hezbollah. This is proven with Hamas. This is proven with the Yemen Houthi rebels. This is proven with all this bullshit. You know what I mean? Anyways, back to this.
Nations against Israel from the very beginning.
What's up, Straight
So
Jacket?
Iran has been operating this network of proxies that have all been focused in on Israel. Israel has been able to handle most of the proxies, and they are no longer a threat. So Hezbollah, Hamas, the forces in Syria, these have all been handled. And Iran has been kept in a box in that they launched 2 previous attacks against Israel, and Israel was able to counter those pretty easily. The thing is that Israel got to the point where they realized that Iran was days away from having nuclear weapons. They have 2 existential threats against them. One is nuclear weapons, that Iran has enough nuclear material that if they were to enrich it a little bit more, they could produce 9 nuclear weapons. And that is a position that Israel has always said is a non-starter for them. And Iran has also been producing a large number of ballistic missiles. Those ballistic missiles pose a threat to Israel also. If instead of 300 missiles being fired at Israel, 3,000 missiles being fired at Israel, it would overwhelm the defense systems that I enumerated before. And consequently, Israel is taking steps to stop the Iranians from obtaining a nuclear weapon by attacking their facilities and also attacking their production facilities for ballistic missiles. To be able to take out the nuclear weapons facilities, it actually means hitting 14 different locations, and some of them are within mountains. And the Israelis do not have the capability of totally taking those out. They need weapons that the United States has, the MOP, the Massive Ordnance Penetrator weapon, which has to be dropped from the B-2. And so if they are going to take...
He's talking about that's the bunker bomb right there that he's talking about. That has to be dropped by an American asset, being the B-2, has to drop it. It's not like we can just hand them that bunker bomb and they can go ahead and use it. No, that doesn't work like that. It has to be dropped out of a U.S. asset.
Take out those facilities, the United States will have to help them. And that's where President Trump is in somewhat of a quandary. Does he assist Israel at this point to destroy Iran's nuclear capability, or does he seek to try to come up with some type of negotiation to put an end to this conflict? And President Trump has announced that they should totally surrender. He's calling for total surrender, unconditional surrender, as you have up right now. Now, does that mean that the United States is going to join Israel and actually use the B-2s to attack Iran? Or are we going to continue sitting on the sidelines providing weapons?
That is absolutely correct, sick bastard. And that's the kind of the point, is what they want is to be able to use both of them. So when you drop, and this bomb is designed to basically go underground 300 feet before it explodes. Okay. I think that you guys are somewhat savvy to this because it's been talked about a little bit, and this is how I'm even savvy with it. But it is designed to go and penetrate the ground, and even what's the correct word? Reinforced concrete and all that shit. It's designed to go through that, which is insane, and then explode. Right? Well, it's a better combo if you can do one, bury it, boom, explode, and then you send a second one, and that really sends the damage. You know what I mean? So, yep, absolutely correct.
To Israel, but let them fight it out. That's a dilemma that President Trump will have to decide.
Yeah, absolutely, Ken, and I'm glad you brought that up, because for many viewers this morning, they're on the edge of their seats watching this conflict, especially because we know the U.S. is an ally to...
And because you said, I believe they're heavy. Yes, they're 30,000 pounds each. Each one of those bombs are 30,000 pounds. And that's fucking crazy. And yes, I got you, Beezer. I got you.
Emotional damage.
Shit.
Israel, there are concerns that the conflict with Israel and Iran could trickle to U.S. soil.
What's up,
With your
Process?
expertise as it relates to terrorism and homeland security, do you see that becoming a reality? Also wanting your professional opinion and your expertise as it relates to U.S. response.
Yeah, let me start by talking about the War Powers Act, that the president is somewhat hamstrung by the War Powers Act, that if he decides that we are going to commit troops,
and you're not wrong on the real sponsors of terror. You're absolutely right on that. We got trigger warning, by the way. Good to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're doing fantastic.
to inform Congress, and then we have to get those troops out within 60 days. And so the Congress, some members of Congress are attempting to push the War Powers Act to restrict President Trump from being able to have us sucked into this war. And that's the real concern that you just mentioned, is that by supporting Israel, we might find ourselves actually being sucked into fighting this war with Iran. The other question is
which he's not wrong in that analysis. He's not wrong in that, as much as I don't like it. The truth is Iran is about to figure out why America does not have any free health coverage. You know what I mean? They're going to find out why we don't have free health care. It's just true. We got Beezer coming in and dropping it like it's hot, like it's nobody's business, dropping 5 memberships for the Breakfast Club, man. Humongous thank you to Beezer, man. I very much appreciate you, kind sir, for the amazing donation, my man. In the late 80s, the U.S. Navy took out Iran's entire Navy in an 8-hour workday. Holy shit. I didn't know that it was only 8 hours. That's crazy. Damn, bro. All right, back to
end
this.
goal is it to remove the nuclear capabilities of Iran and to remove their ballistic missile capabilities, or are we actually going after a regime change, which is something different? Now, on to the question about Iran's capabilities against the United States. The IRGC is a major force as far as being able to conduct terrorist operations around the world. There are cells within the United States of the controlled by the IRGC, and that, or at least they are. There may be cells of the IRGC here in the United States, and if activated, their job would be to be sapper units to harass the United States by conducting acts of terrorism. We will see whether or not that happens. But again, to the end goal, are we ready to take this on to try to conduct regime change? Or are we just supporting Israel? Israel cannot take out the nuclear facilities at Fordow, the Fordow nuclear facility, which is within a mountain, and it needs those MOPs to be able to take that out.
Which is the bunker bomb. Anyways, all right. So I have something very interesting for everybody. I have, of course, that was reported from, the Fox side of things. What we're going to go ahead and do is, to end this off, we're actually going to bring up how's it? Let me see what their actual name is. Al Jazeera. There it is. So we're going to bring up Al Jazeera. That's their side of the equation, and they're reporting on an English side. So we're going to go ahead and bring that up. But before we do, for the pocket watchers out there,
maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
All right. All right. So let's go ahead and bring this up. This is titled, Israel is waging, quote, war of aggression, says Iran's foreign minister spokesperson, warnings of full regional conflict.
Well, we are bringing you the first live television interview with an Iranian official since this conflict began. I'm joined by Ismail Baghai. He's the spokesperson for Iran's foreign ministry. Mr. Baghai, thank you for being with us here on Al Jazeera. I'm going to start by asking you for your assessment of regional stability at the moment. How concerned are you that this could broaden into a regional war?
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. First, I think we have to understand what is going on. This is a war of aggression, full stop. My country has become under an attack by a genocidal occupying regime. And I think this aggression should be seen in continuation of an already devastating war that has been imposed on Gaza, on Lebanon and Syria and other countries of the region. So this is a war of aggression. And what we are doing as Iran is defending ourselves with all force.
Are you open to a diplomatic solution given the
What's up, Brother Warland? Shia, good morning.
potential devastating consequences of continuing this conflict or having it broaden?
Yeah, the point is that whatever happens, today is the 6th day of our national defense against this aggression. And I think this is not only a war on Iran, this is a war on one of the most historic civilizations of the world. This is a war on the whole region. Israel has been trying all along to drag other countries, including the United States, into its filthy war.
No, she's odd looking, Trigger.
Against the countries in the region. So we have to be careful. All the countries in the region must be careful. And I really here have to appreciate the condemnation of this attack by all countries in the region. That has been very responsible. I think the countries of the region, our brothers and sisters in the Arab world, in the Islamic world, have fully recognized the evil of this war and the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu and those who are supporting Israel are trying to drag the whole region and beyond into a very devastating war with everlasting consequences for everyone in the region.
You spoke about the potential consequences for regional partners. Obviously, a number of Iran's regional partners do host American bases. If the Americans do enter this conflict, can you confirm what you would be willing to do on the soil of any of your regional partners if an attack is launched from a US base on their soil?
Iran has been a very responsible actor in the region. You can see our very good relations with the countries in the region, and that's one of the reasons why the countries in the region have come with one voice in condemning this atrocious attack against Iran. And we really appreciate that. And at the same time, I'm sure that our neighbors, our Arab neighbors, our Muslim neighbors, recognize the fact that Israel has been trying to fight its cruel wars at the expense of others. And I think any American intervention would be a recipe for an all-out war in the region with very, very bad consequences for the whole international community.
Gee.
Would you, just for clarity, would you target a US base in another country, say an Arab country nearby, if an attack was launched from that US base?
As I told you already, we have very good relations with our Arab countries. And I think they are very careful. They are very cognizant of the fact that Americans, especially, Israelis, have been trying to drag others into their war. And the point is that under international law, no country is allowed to provide its territory for any abuse by any warring party. And we are sure that our Arab countries that are hosting American bases would not allow their territory to be used against their Muslim neighbor. That would be, they know, that would be the point that Israel and their supporters really love to see.
Would you, just for clarity as well, sir, would you attack any US base within your reach in the region, regardless of if there was an attack launched from it? Would all US bases become a target if the US enters this conflict?
As I told you, right now, we focus on defending ourselves from the attack by Israel. And that's why we have been very careful. We have been very responsible, very calculated in our response to these attacks. We have targeted military bases.
You have targeted military bases. What are you talking about? You're making it rain on top of Haifa and Tel Aviv. What are you talking about?
Security bases inside the occupied lands.
Yo,
Stop the cap.
come on, man. Like, just be kind of real about it.
For the time being,
you don't have any precision. You don't have the capability. You just aim it at the city. What are you talking about?
On that. And as I told you, under international law, no country has any legal basis to allow any third party to abuse its territory against another country. And I trust that the understanding between Iran and our neighbors is that they would not allow any third party to abuse their territory.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to my previous question, which was a diplomatic solution. Is Iran at the moment open to any kind of negotiation or a conversation about trying to end this conflict?
Diplomacy never ends, that's for sure. But the point is that this war was imposed on Iran in the midst of a diplomatic process. We were supposed to be in Muscat on Sunday, and Israelis started this.
Wait until it's about to come up right here. He is going to talk about the N bomb here, and it's going to be actually kind of insane. He's even going to talk about the nuclear program over there in Iran right here. He's going to say it right here, dude. Watch. This shit I did watch while I was actually listening to this while taking a shower this morning. Like, this shit is crazy. Wait for it.
Egregious act of aggression early Friday. So 2 days before a pre-scheduled negotiations, they started this war. And I think it by itself says many things, that Iran has always been for diplomacy, for dialogue. And those who have been enemy to any such dialogue and understanding, they started this war. They put everyone in a sort of fait accompli situation. So I think right now, we have to concentrate on fighting our enemy, defending our territory, defending our people. As you know, there have been hundreds of innocent people who have been killed by Israeli strikes against hospitals. They also attacked our national TV station. And I think Al Jazeera can easily understand what I'm saying, because you have lost so many journalists. At least 5 journalists from Al Jazeera have been killed by Israel. Many of radio and TV stations have been attacked by them. So no civilian have been spared in Iran. They have been attacking residential areas. They have been attacking hospitals. So we have to focus on defending our territory and our national integrity.
So if the US President, Donald Trump, goes through with his suggestion of sending his Vice President, J.D. Vance, and his Middle East Special Envoy, Steve Witkoff, to have a conversation with Iran directly or indirectly, would you be willing to engage with the US at this stage?
Shit.
As I told you, diplomacy never ends.
Oh, my God.
Could you then...
Our people, our brave soldiers are fighting this imposed war. And at the same time,
I understand,
our diplomacy is at work.
I understand that you feel that you're defending Iran and you're still engaging diplomatically. Mm-hmm. Do you feel at this stage that you can trust the Americans to control Israeli actions?
Not really, because as I told you, we were in the middle of negotiations. And all of a sudden, Israel started attacking Iran. And no one can imagine in our region, not only in Iran, that Israel started this war without prior green light by the United States. So I think what is at stake is the credibility of a country that is supposed to be a global power. What is at stake is the international law, international north that has been almost annihilated for the past 2 years because of all of these atrocities that have been committed in occupied Palestine, in Lebanon, in Syria, and elsewhere. So I think the whole international community, in particular those who are members of the Security Council, must shoulder their responsibility and have to act in order to stop this aggression.
So if you say that you can't trust the Americans to keep Israel in line, and it's the Americans who are potentially going to be engaging with you diplomatically on trying to end this conflict, do you then see no diplomatic solution with the Americans?
We will do everything at our disposal to end this imposed war. So
what I like is that chick is actually asking some fucking good questions, though.
I do not reject any possibility. If we find any possibility to defend ourselves, if we can, that's why we have outreach to the Security Council, because that's where the United Nations has to act in accordance with Chapter 7. United States and other 4 members of the Security Council, the veto members, are part of this responsibility. So the United States, as a member of the UN Security Council, cannot go away, cannot shoulder away its responsibility. So both individually, all countries that are member of the UN, they have responsibility individually and collectively as part of the UN Security Council and United Nations.
So you spoke about the Security Council there. Russia is a powerful member of that council. Are you engaging with Moscow?
We are in contact with all countries, with our friends in the region and beyond. We have been talking to
you're talking to Daddy Putin over there.
Countries for the past 4 days, because we think this is not a war only on Iran. This is a war on the United Nations, on the principles of the United Nations that has been the framework of international relations for the past 8 decades. And I think every country that claims to be genuine about the rule of international law, about human rights, about humanitarian law, must stand up to this unjust war. They have to act. That's why we are reaching out to almost each and every country to make sure that they are aware of their responsibility with respect to this egregious act of aggression.
So you say that you've been speaking to the Russians. What have the Russians been telling you about this conflict?
I think they have been clear, not only Russia, other countries, including in the region, they have all condemned this aggression because let's call a spade a spade. This is an act of aggression, an unprovoked act of aggression. They have been trying to justify this aggression as preemptive strike. Preemptive about what? We don't have any such things as preemptive self-defense under international law. That's a very malign excuse to attack other countries.
So we've heard plenty of condemnation from a number of countries, as you say, but condemnation isn't quite the same as support. Do you feel that you're getting enough support from your allies? That's a great question. Hold on. I got to bring it back. Much love and respect, Tiffany. We'll see on the flip side. Sorry that your internet is going in and out. So is mine, actually, as we speak, but I'm trying my damnness too. All right, listen to this question right here. This is a good question. To attack other countries. So we've heard plenty of condemnation from a number of countries, as you say, but condemnation isn't quite the same as support. Do you feel that you're getting enough support from your allies? What's up, Extra Surprise? It's not enough, of course, but any action should come after such condemnation or
at the same time that this act is being recognized as an act of aggression, we expect each and every country that feels responsible toward international peace and security, that feels responsible toward its commitment under the UN Charter and Geneva Convention to act in accordance with their responsibilities.
So I'm going to press you on this. Exactly what kind of support, if any, has Moscow promised Iran?
Oh, Moscow.
As I told you, we are in contact with each and every country, including Russia, China, because they are permanent members of the Security Council. And we expect everyone that has a leeway, that has a mandate under the UN Security Council to act, to help having a resolution in condemnation of this attack. You know, we have an already adopted resolution in 1981, Resolution 487, that was adopted when Iraqi nuclear installations was attacked by Israel. So there is a clear mandate for the UN Security Council. And at the same time, under Article 99 of the United Nations Charter, the Secretary General has a very clear responsibility to call for an urgent meeting of the Security Council and to do something. So this is our expectation. But at the same time, we rely on ourselves and we defend our security, our national integrity.
Yeah, let me get, do me a favor. Someone in the chat, like Anson or some, get the link for the Discord real quick.
And our territory.
I understand that Beijing is now evacuating Chinese nationals from Iran. You've spoken about China coming out in condemnation of Israel's actions as well. Do you feel that you're receiving any support from China?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
I believe that Chinese nationals are currently being evacuated from Iran, and I'm wondering about the level of support you are receiving at the moment from Beijing.
As I told you, we are in contact with almost all countries, including China and Russia, and we are trying our best in order to mobilize international community's unified response against this act of aggression. You talked.
Don't worry, I got it.
About evacuation. Again, this is a manifestation of war crimes that the aggressor is trying to coerce Iranians, is trying to coerce Iranians out of the cities, and then to attack residential areas and our cities. This is a clear indication of their intention to commit further war crimes as part of this aggression against Iran.
In trying to end this conflict, US President Donald Trump has said that he would require a complete surrender from Iran. So let me start by asking you there, would you be willing to give up your nuclear program if that means that this will stop?
Hold on. What did she just say? Are you willing to give up your nuclear program? Hold on.
From Iran. So let me start by asking you there, would you be willing to give up your nuclear program if that means that this will stop?
Shit.
We are a country of hundreds and hundreds of civilization. We have been in this part of the world for millennia. We have not attacked any country. We are under attack with the pretext of our peaceful nuclear program. And today, you saw...
Answer the question, motherfucker.
Director General Grossi's interview with CNN. He clearly said they didn't have any proof substantiating Iran's moving toward any nuclear weapon. So I think all of these pretexts have been simply an instrument to legitimize their aggression against Iran. Our nuclear program has been completely peaceful. It has been under the most robust inspection by the IAEA, and even no IAEA report has any time said Iran is deviating from peaceful purposes. So I think this all came as part of their continuing pretext to demonize Iran and to provide the ground for such horrible aggression against my country.
So you're speaking there about objectives and incentives. I'm asking if you are willing to engage diplomatically, which you say you are you willing to give up the nuclear program, regardless of its objectives?
Woo!
Are you willing to...
She's doing such a great job pushing back. She's doing so good at like hammering it back. That's right. Get it in.
Give up the nuclear program in order to move beyond this conflict and for this conflict to end.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, really.
I don't know what you're talking about.
As I said, our nuclear program has been part and parcel of our right under the NPT. So we have not done anything wrong under international law. Our nuclear program started in 1950s, and it has continued for the past 5 decades completely peaceful. So, and I think instead of this question, you have to ask this question from the custodians of the NPT, why they allowed Israel to attack our peaceful installation. This is completely banned under international law.
True,
this is completely criminal. And in accordance with Resolution 533 of IAEA's board, any attack or even the threat of attack against peaceful installation of a country constitutes a threat to peace and security. Now, we are witnessing a serious breach of peace. This is an act of aggression. So I think the international community has to make Israel and its supporters accountable for what they have done as part of their aggression against Iran.
So if diplomatic efforts fail, and the war extends, the US enters the war, what kind of action are you considering? You've spoken about potentially targeting US bases in the region. Would you also be considering action in the Strait of Hormuz?
Good question.
As I told you, I'm not going to talk about our methods of war. The point is that we are defending our land. We are defending our national security with all force. The point is that there is no reason for any other party to enter into Israel's war on Iran. We are defending ourselves against a blatant act of aggression that was imposed on Iran by Israeli regime. And I think it would be extremely reckless, extremely irresponsible for any other party to engage in this aggression. We know Israelis have already been using many parts of Israel has been using information, intelligence, and other weaponry from the United States and other some European countries. That's for sure. But any direct engagement by any other country, that would, as I told you, that would be an invitation to a full-scale conflict that would engulf all the region and even will go beyond that. So instead of threatening Iran with other countries participating in this aggression, I think any responsible member of the international community has to act before it's too late to stop the aggression, to rein in the blatant acts of continuing aggression by Israel that has been really inflicting upon our region so much misery and
What's up, Pablo? Good to see you, man.
Them for the past 8 decades, particularly for the past 2 years. They started from Gaza. They are still committing a genocide there. Then they occupied parts of Arab lands in Syria, in Lebanon, and now they are coming to another country of the region. They would
because that's your fight. That's right. You're so invested over there in Hamas because that's your fight. Yeah, you fund it, motherfucker. Yeah, we know.
Stop here. They will not even stop in our region. Mark my words. They would not stop here if you do not rein in their vicious demands.
Ismail Baghai, the spokesman of Iran's foreign ministry. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you.
Gee, that was, I think, a great way to consolidate today's ordeal and what's happening. I hope that I'm giving you guys fair and consolidated great news. That's my whole ordeal here, is to show, not only one side of the equation, but to show both. And that's what I've been doing since breaking this news on Instagram. I've been showing both sides of the equation. I'm sure both sides doesn't like what I'm showing, but that's exactly what the ordeal is. You just report fact, and that's the way it is. So listen, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for hanging out this morning. There's not going to be a diamond effect tonight, by the way. We're postponing that by 1 day. We're putting that off until tomorrow. So we'll be doing that tomorrow night at 7 p.m. CST. So we'll be back tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. You know what I mean? As same bad time, same bad channel, all that bullshit. Listen, for anybody that's new members here, that from Brother Beezer gifting out some members today, make sure that you guys hang out with us every Saturday morning. Every Saturday morning, we have members only live stream 10 a.m. CST. So with that being said, stick around for the raid. We're going to be raiding our good friend Glenn Lawrence. Let me make sure he's still live before I actually do that, because I set it up a little bit ago and he's been live since like 1 a.m, dude. And he's insane. All right. He still is live. So let's go ahead and send you guys over there. With that being said, much love, honor, respect, everybody. God bless everyone. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. See you guys.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on to his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit.